promised to try and expedite the process of exonerating people who've been convicted, but so far only a fraction of them have been cleared, and they are looking now at ways to resolve what's been described as the biggest miscarriage of justice in recent British history.
OK, let's get the views now of criminal defence lawyer Nick Freeman and all of this. Nick, this is a legal mess, a legal minefield. There's no problem, I would imagine, Nick, pointing the finger and blaming certain people. How do you see it?
Good morning. This needs to be resolved as quickly as possible from a legal perspective. The Court of Appeal needs to get all the people. There have been 900 prosecutions, something like 700 convictions. 2,800 people had to abandon their businesses, and thousands of lives have been ruined. So, first of all, in relation to the criminal convictions, they need to be overturned quickly. And they just, in my view, because this is such a horrendous and exceptional case, needs to be pulled together, irrespective of an application. All the names need to be pulled together. They need to go before the Court of Appeal, even if they don't want to, and have those convictions just overturned. It would need emergency legislation to deal with that, to get round the formalities that exist, because those formalities take time, and time really. This has started in 1999. It went on until 2015, and people have been dragging their heels since. It is incredible. So that's the first thing. All the convictions set aside with emergency legislation, so straight before the Court of Appeal, and overturn them. The next thing that needs to happen is there needs to be a punitive figure of compensation so that everyone gets a cheque literally within a few days, whether that's £600,000 or whatever. That's what needs to happen, and then the individual aspects of compensation can be dealt with on a slightly slower basis. And it's important to bear in mind, many people have died without this matter being resolved. And it's not just the people who lost their jobs who have been affected, but you hear horrendous stories of the children who have been affected, who have been abused, who have had eating disorders, there have been forced suicides. So there are other people who are affected who will be entitled to compensation. There needs to be justice, and I think that's the thing. There needs to be the truth. We need to find the truth, and those people responsible, whether they are at Fujitsu or whether they are at the post office, there needs to be a thorough, robust criminal investigation, and those people need to be brought to account without fear or favour. And of course, the post office is owned by the government, and there are MPs who have done a sterling job in bringing this to the public and fighting for these sub-postmasters. But was there anyone in the government who actually tried not to assist, tried to get in the way? I don't believe there was, but of course the government is owned by the post office, and it's hard to understand how this hasn't been resolved sooner. Bearing in mind it finished in 2015, we're now almost 9 years later. So speed is the essence. To get true justice, we need compensation, and we also need criminal prosecutions, and those people need to be dealt with by due process of law. And of course, then there's the outstanding matter for Fujitsu, in terms of it has the contract for Horizon at the moment. I understand that they're the only people who can deal with it. But should they get any future government contracts? Absolutely not. They should be sued civilly, and they should be made to pay very, very dearly for the damage, the subterfuge that they caused, because, of course, they were aware of exactly what was going on. They were aware of the bugs, the defects within their system. They sought to suppress them. They obviously, you mentioned earlier that Venables, she didn't know. I don't know whether you've seen the programme Bates Against Post Office. I anticipate you have, Eamon. But it's quite clear when she was being interviewed by the Select Committee, she was asking questions when she wanted specific answers of them so that she could tell the truth. So that isn't, in my view, dealing with the matter honestly. That's orchestrating it so that you can get round the truth, because this is what I've been told. So while she didn't reign over this particular period when this was happening, she was there and didn't bring the matter to justice as she should have done. So she needs to be the subject of a criminal investigation as well. We are told that the two experts from the Japanese company Fujitsu are being investigated for perjury and perverting the course of justice. But it shouldn't stop. They should not be made the scapegoats, because this is a huge company, and there were many people within that company who knew what was going on. So criminal and civil investigation, compensation, and overturning convictions is how this matter needs to be dealt with, and it needs to happen quickly in relation to the overturning of convictions and the compensation.
Okay, Nick, well put, well said. Thank you very much indeed for what needed to be said there today. Nick Freeman is a criminal lawyer